The George Building, a newly constructed 15-story office complex, was meant to be a symbol of progress and modernity. Located in the bustling heart of downtown, it was designed to house a variety of businesses, promising a vibrant hub of activity. On the fateful morning of June 12, 2024, the structure that had held so much promise became a scene of unimaginable tragedy. At precisely 10:15 a.m., the building shuddered violently before collapsing into a mountain of rubble, sending shockwaves through the entire city. The collapse occurred with terrifying speed, trapping hundreds of people beneath tons of concrete and steel. The air filled with a thick cloud of dust, obscuring the scene from horrified onlookers who watched in disbelief as the once imposing structure was reduced to ruins. The deafening roar of the collapse was followed by an eerie silence, broken only by the cries of those who had managed to escape the disaster. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, sirens wailing, as a desperate race against time began to save those trapped beneath the debris. The George Building had been hailed as a testament to the city's booming economy, a shining example of its rapid development. Its construction had been completed just 6 months prior to the collapse, and many of its tenants had only recently moved in. The building was intended to be a state-of-the-art facility, boasting modern amenities and advanced safety features. However, the catastrophic collapse raised serious questions about the structural integrity of the building and the regulatory oversight of its construction. As the dust settled, the enormity of the disaster became horrifyingly clear. The once proud George Building was now a symbol of loss and despair, a stark reminder of the fragility of human endeavors in the face of unforeseen catastrophe. The collapse left an indelible scar on the city's landscape and psyche, casting a long shadow over its future. The investigation into the cause of the collapse promised to be long and complex, with the potential to expose systemic failures in the city's construction industry and regulatory framework. Within minutes of the collapse, a massive rescue operation swung into action. Over 500 personnel from multiple agencies, including firefighters, paramedics, and search and rescue teams, converged on the site. Time was of the essence, as every passing moment diminished the chances of survival for those trapped beneath the rubble. Equipped with specialized tools and heavy machinery, rescuers worked tirelessly, carefully removing debris, searching for signs of life. The rescue efforts were hampered by the unstable nature of the debris field. The collapsed structure was a treacherous labyrinth of concrete slabs, mangled steel beams, and shattered glass. Every move had to be calculated to avoid further collapse, putting rescuers at constant risk. Sniffer dogs were deployed to locate potential survivors, while listening devices were used to detect any sounds of life from beneath the rubble. Drones equipped with thermal imaging cameras provided aerial views of the site, helping rescuers to identify areas where survivors might be trapped. Medical teams worked around the clock, setting up triage centers near the collapse site. The injured were rushed to nearby hospitals, while anxious families gathered at information centers desperate for news of their loved ones. Despite the tireless efforts of the rescue teams, the number of confirmed fatalities continued to rise, casting a pall of gloom over the city. The scale of the disaster was unprecedented, and the rescue efforts were a poignant reminder of the human cost of the tragedy. As days turned into nights, the rescue operation continued unabated. Hope dwindled with each passing hour, but the rescuers refused to give up. They clung to the belief that there might still be survivors trapped beneath the rubble, their determination fueled by the faintest glimmer of hope. Stories of miraculous rescues emerged, providing a much-needed boost to the morale of both the rescuers and the families of the missing. Every life saved was a testament to the unwavering dedication and courage of the men and women who toiled tirelessly amidst the ruins. Even as rescue efforts continued, a parallel investigation was launched to determine the cause of the collapse. The focus quickly turned to possible regulatory failures and lapses in construction standards. Preliminary findings revealed a series of alarming discrepancies in the building's design and construction, suggesting a systemic disregard for safety regulations. Experts pointed to the use of substandard materials, inadequate structural reinforcements, and a blatant disregard for building codes as potential contributing factors to the collapse. The city's building department came under intense scrutiny, with allegations of lax oversight and corruption. Investigations revealed a pattern of negligence in the approval process for building permits, raising questions about the integrity of the entire system. The construction company responsible for the project was also implicated, facing accusations of cutting corners and prioritizing profits over safety. The collapse exposed a web of complacency and complicity, highlighting the urgent need for a comprehensive overhaul of the city's construction industry and regulatory framework. Independent engineering experts brought in to assess the structural integrity of the building were scathing in their criticism of the construction practices employed. They pointed to glaring deficiencies in the building's foundation, inadequate steel reinforcement in key structural elements, and a failure to account for the building's load-bearing capacity. The use of substandard concrete prone to cracking and deterioration was also cited as a major contributing factor to the collapse. The investigation revealed a pattern of systematic negligence, with safety sacrificed for expediency and profit. The regulatory failures exposed by the George Building collapse served as a stark reminder of the critical importance of rigorous building codes and stringent enforcement mechanisms. The tragedy highlighted the need for greater transparency and accountability in the construction industry and the importance of prioritizing safety over profit. The investigation promised to be long and complex, with the potential to lead to criminal charges against those deemed responsible for the disaster. The findings of the investigation were expected to have far-reaching implications for the city's construction industry and its regulatory framework. The George Building collapse left an indelible mark on the city, its impact extending far beyond the immediate vicinity of the disaster. The human cost of the tragedy was immeasurable, with hundreds of families left to grieve the loss of loved ones. The collapse also had a profound economic impact, disrupting businesses, displacing workers, and shaking investor confidence in the city's future. The disaster served as a stark reminder of the fragility of human endeavors and the importance of prioritizing safety in all aspects of development. In the aftermath of the collapse, the city grappled with the enormity of the loss and the long road to recovery. Support poured in from across the country and around the world, as people offered condolences and assistance. The city launched a massive relief effort, providing financial assistance to the families of the victims and offering counseling services to those traumatized by the disaster. The community came together in a remarkable display of unity and resilience, offering support to those affected by the tragedy and working tirelessly to rebuild their shattered lives. The George Building collapse served as a catalyst for a comprehensive review of the city's building codes and safety regulations. The City Council vowed to implement stricter building codes, enhance oversight of the construction industry, and increase penalties for violations. The tragedy also prompted a nationwide discussion about the importance of building safety, leading to calls for greater transparency and accountability in the construction industry. The collapse served as a stark reminder that safety should never be compromised for expediency or profit. The George Building collapse was a tragedy of immense proportions, a stark reminder of the human cost of complacency and negligence. The disaster left an indelible scar on the city's landscape and psyche, but it also served as a catalyst for positive change. The city's response to the tragedy, marked by unity, resilience, and a commitment to reform, offered a glimmer of hope amidst the devastation. The George Building collapse will forever be etched in the city's memory, a solemn reminder of the importance of prioritizing safety, accountability, and the well-being of its citizens.